we're going to talk about the last wine before this turns into a cocktail party. Okay, the last pairing of the evening is going to be with a wine called Stefano Farina Moscato. Who's had Moscato? A couple more of you. Moscatos are fantastic for a lot of reasons. I often describe having Moscato as like if you could drink a cloud. I mean, that's what it feels like. It's like a puff of air that happens to have essence of peach and apricot and pears to it. Moscatos are traditionally from Italy, and they're specifically from the Asti region, which is why they're called Moscato di Asti. Asti is in Piedmont. If anyone watched the Winter Olympics last, it was in Piedmont. The reds that Piedmont is most known for are Barolos and Barbarescos. But I think they do a pretty darn good job with dessert wines with this Moscato. Style-wise, it's texturally light in body. It's enhanced by the fact that there's a bit of a bubble to it. It's got some effervescence that aren't as strong as sparkling wine or champagne, but it's just enough that's just kind of under that lifts all the flavors and lifts all the aromas and just makes everything seem a bit more airy and fluffy and light like a cloud. The fruit profile they describe is more of a white peach kind of apricot. There was a producer, I used to work on the winery side of the business, and I worked for a guy named Michele Chiarlo who makes a Moscato called Nibole, which is in the local dialect is called cloud. And he used to, at his home in Piedmont, take his little half bottles of this stuff, put it in the freezer for about 15 minutes, and then pour it over peaches. And the first time I had it at his place, I was sold. So, ever get the opportunity to try that. This one's done in a big bottle, but we also sell other ones in half bottles. So this one, out of all of them, is going to be the fruitiest of them all. So as we started with the session saying dessert wines are intended, or desserts are intended to go with wines that are as sweet or sweeter, it's going to be interesting now that we're ending with a sweet wine to see how this dynamic works. So I'll let Jen tell you about that. Yeah. What's that? Raw peaches? Raw peaches, yeah. Yeah. That's it.
You're in line to try it on the barbecue too.
What's that?
On the barbecue.
Yes, right. Girl peaches on the barbecue with Moscato.
And a little bit of bacon.
Yeah, because Moscato, because it has such a slight bubble to it, that it actually will dissipate pretty quick. And so it's great without it as well, but the true essence of this pairing works with the effervescence. So if you ever took a bottle of this home and weren't able to finish it the first night, when you go to it the second night, you will not have the bubble. It's still a beautiful wine, but it's more like a traditional dessert wine because it doesn't have the bubble to it. So we wanted to make sure you got that fresh. What'd you say?
Has it ever happened?
No. Any other questions on this particular wine? No? All right, Jen.
Okay. So this is my favorite pairing, so I'm really glad we're doing it last. This is a Naga Truffle, and I'm kind of sad that I'm giving away the flavor, because I usually try and get people to guess. This is a really good guessing game. So you can see that it's sweet Indian curry and coconut in our deep milk chocolate blend. This is the very first truffle that Katrina ever created, and part of the inspiration behind the entire collection. So it started with her working with an Indian chef when she traveled, and he told her that it was tradition to eat silver leaf after a meal to aid in digestion. She thought that was one of the coolest things she'd ever heard. Wow, having silver with food, like a silver leaf, how luxurious is that? How beautiful and wonderful. And so she was thinking of India, and she was in her kitchen in Bucktown before Vosges even began, and she had on this necklace that was given to her, and it was supposedly made by the Nagaland tribes in Northeast India. And she just decided that when thinking of India, Katrina's a very spiritual person and creative, and so she had some curry, she threw it in the milk chocolate, and she thought, well, why not coconut? And made all of these truffles. And at the time, living in Texas and working for her uncle, she brought them in the next day, and everyone kind of said, "What? Curry?
Yeah.
In Texas, they send in, traditional flavors, straightforward comfort food, chocolate, caramel, butter. And they said, curry, that's really weird, but they tasted it, and she said there was a moment where people just had this like look of enlightenment, and their eyes lit up, and they said, oh my God, it's curry, but it's so good, and so hence the Naga truffle was born. What? Yeah, you can lick it, just like you did the last one, if you want. Anything with spice on the top, I try to have people lick. The same way we took a little bit of the violet, I think that it brings out the blend and the flavor of the chocolate. Sometimes it gets lost with the topping in the inside, and the ganache is so rich. So for this is one of my all-time favorite pairings. I do this one often because I think it's so good. In the same way that, curry is really yummy with, say, mango. You've got that sweet fruit and the curry spice. It has this tropical component that I think really pairs well with Moscato. It brings out those white peach notes in it. And also, again, if you find like a Viognier or a Riesling, Tom was talking about Rieslings earlier, some Rieslings get a bad rap because people think they're just sweet, icky dessert wines, but there are a lot that are really well balanced. They're a little off dry, that have a good acidity. Rieslings can also be really wonderful with this truffle. This truffle pairs well with so many things. I pair it a lot with IPAs, with beer, because it has this IPAs in my mind, they're so bitter, and so they need a little bit of sweet. And I think that the spice and the curry really brings out a lot of the beer as well. Beer and chocolate is something that I think, and I'm not going to say it's better than wine. I don't think it's better than wine. But beer and chocolate was so surprising to me that I try and tell people as much as possible about it, because I was a total non-believer when someone told me I could pair beer with chocolate. Being that I'm not a very big beer drinker.
Sounds like we need to have you back.
Yeah.
Right, Ron?
So, and it's absolutely wonderful as well. So definitely give that a try at home too. Also with cheese, this one is wonderful with a tangier cheese, like a Swiss cheese. A fresh Chevrolet aged cheese. Did you like this one? Is this anyone's favorite? Yeah. It's a good way to close out the tasting. Anyone have questions about Moscato or curry?
This one's actually really good with the wings of the rabbit too.
Oh,